I was an interpreter for missionaries. Put this dream in my heart that I would love to go to America one day. But that's not gonna happen, so I'm going to move to the capital and go to university. I grew up with a single mom. It was New York and Miami were the two cities where I just felt like one day I'm going to live here.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Tu Aroma de Mujer, or in English, Your Scent as a Woman. My name is Maria Cristina Valencia. I am the host, and today I have a very special guest. Even though I had just met her recently, when I found out her story and had the conversation with her, I said to myself, she needs to be in this podcast because her story needs to be shared. Besides, she's a beautiful woman. She comes from Latvia. She's absolutely gorgeous. And she moved to the United States at the age of 19 with a really life-changing experience. And later, she became the founder of House Incubator, which I am sure she's going to tell you more about it once we hear it from her. Thank you, Karina Trofimova, for being here. I'm so excited to share this space. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor. Yeah.
Well, as I said, I met her recently. And you always question to people, especially immigrants, right?
Yeah.
It's the first question. Why is it here? How is it that you came to live in the United States?
Yeah.
And I want you to share with the audience, how is it that it happened? Because we have actually named this episode The Impossible Dream.
Yes.
Why is it that it's an impossible dream? Tell us about your story.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I was an interpreter for missionaries. This was through my church, through some people that I knew. And every summer they would come for a week and I would translate. We were like 5 interpreters, maybe 40 missionaries. And through that experience of going to orphanages and telling the kids about Jesus, I really fell in love with English language and languages in general, and also American culture. And it really put this dream in my heart that I would love to go to America one day, you know. So right before my senior year, I remember very specifically just praying and saying, God, for me, it's impossible to go to America after high school, but for you, anything is possible. Wow. And I remember just releasing it because I grew up with a single mom, in Latvia, getting a visa, figuring out how to go to school in the US or any of that. For me, that just wasn't.
It was not realistic.
Yeah, it wasn't even an option. It's
not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just not even an option for me. So, I just told God, this is what I would love to happen. This is what I want. With you, everything is possible, And that senior year in the fall, another group came. And usually they only come in the summer.
Right.
But that fall, another group came. Wow. And only for 3 days. Again, whole new group that I had never met before. And on the second day, we were all at a restaurant just at the end of the day waiting to be seated for dinner.
Yes.
And I was standing next to one of the missionaries, one of the ladies, and she just started chatting with me because, again, it's like 5 interpreters, 40 missionaries.
Right.
We don't meet everyone. So she's just asking, like, who are you? What are you doing here? Who are you? And I told her I'm a senior in high school and so on. And she was like, okay, so you're a senior. What are you going to do after high school? And I told her the first thing that came to mind. I said, I would really love to go to America. I would love to go to America for 1 year, really perfect my English, and then I would move back to Latvia. That was kind of what I wanted. But that's not going to happen. So I'm going to move to the capital and go to university.
Wow. It just came out just like that.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that today. I was like, why did I even say it to her?
Because it was the dream that you had inside and
it
just came out.
It just came out.
And she was just listening to your story?
Yeah, she heard that, and then I don't remember if it was the same day. I think she actually the same day she told me she she told me she wants me to come to Ohio because that's where she was from. Where
Right.
she was from. And in my mind, that didn't mean anything because there have been American
Oh, you
groups
should
coming.
come. Yeah, you should
Yeah,
come to
come
Ohio.
visit.
Come to
Like
America,
that
come
doesn't.
visit.
Yeah, that doesn't change my situation, you know. But that night, when she got back to her hotel room, she called her husband, and she said, "I really want to help this girl. I want to make it happen for her."
Wow.
So the next day, we exchanged information, and she was saying that she would really look into it. You know, she wanted to make it happen. And even then, I was like, I don't really understand what this means.
How is this going to pan out?
Yeah, exactly. And I had told her that, you know, I wanted to just work for a year. So she looked into that, and then she emailed me, and she was like, you can't work. You can't just come here and work for a year. That's illegal.
Right, right.
But you can go to college.
Wow.
And she had gone to community college to do a massage degree. And she told me, there's a community college that I went to, and they have international student programs. Why don't you come for a year and study?
Wow.
So, to wrap up that story, she ended up paying for my college for that year. She bought my flight. Her and her husband.
Right. The family.
Yes, the family. They bought my flight. They took care of my visa. I lived with them and their son that year. They taught me how to drive because I didn't have a driver's license. Yeah, that was a challenge for her, but you know, yeah.
Yes.
And then they gave me a car to drive to school every day, and they even took me on trips because they wanted me to see.
Just part of the family.
Yeah, and they wanted me to see more of America, which actually that Christmas they brought me to New York. And that was my first time in New York, and that's where the dream was born to move to New York, which happened 5 years later. Yeah.
I just think sometimes it's incredible to realize how God is in the middle of every single piece of our lives. You know, we have this dream, we have this desire, and like you growing, I am a single mom, and I am sure how difficult it must have been for your mom to be in that scenario also to say, how am I going to make my little girl's dream come to pass? It's impossible, you know, not seeing it through. And I am sure as you were raised in a Christian household of how much her prayers were also there, you know, pleading to God and saying, you're the one who knows what her future is. You know, she knew, and God knew that he had a purpose in your life. And little by little, just by speaking the word, just by speaking our dreams, in Matthew says, well, ask and it shall be given.
Yeah.
You know, knock on the door and the doors will be open.
Yeah.
And just that, with that humbleness in your heart, as you were serving the Lord, because you were there as a translator, interpreter, serving the Lord, this family got so touched by saying, I want to help her and make this happen to you. How did your mom feel when you were going to go away to America?
I mean, my mom obviously was not super happy.
It's like, you know, I want her dream to come true, but I don't want her to leave my side.
Yeah. But, you know, she knew that that's what was best for me, or that is what my desire was. So, of course, she was supportive of it.
Yes.
She herself at that time was already working in Ireland. So I was in Latvia, she was in Ireland. So in my mind, it wasn't going to make such a
difference, right? Location, geographic location, it didn't really matter where you were at.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but she was supportive. I think now looking back, she was probably more supportive than maybe a lot of other parents would have been, you know?
It's hard. When I came to the United States the first time, I was 16 years old. And at that time, there was no internet, no cell phone, no WhatsApp, no FaceTime. And I don't really know until today how my parents let me go. It's like saying, okay, go. They put me on a plane. And I just left and landed in the U.S. as an international student without being able to communicate, you know, not even know where I was going to be landing. So as you said, sometimes it's incredible the faith that our parents have to let us go at such a young age completely to a different country, you know, miles away without even being able to be close to us or even know where we're going to be at. So you go to New York in that family trip. And what happens there? How does this dream on the fashion industry or happen to you?
Yeah, so that specific trip, I just remember, so we were staying on Times Square, which in itself was very impressive, you know? And I remember walking around Central Park and just looking at all the buildings and just feeling this such a strong energy and pull to the city. And yeah, I told them, I was like, one day I want to live here. And they kind of chuckled, same as you.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, oh, now little Karina wants to live in New York, you know,
Right.
that's cute. But I think that childlike faith, you
Yes.
know, when I look back at my, you know, late teens or like early 20s, I think that is something that I really had, was this really strong, just kind of faith. Yeah, just very much like, oh, I want this now. This is what's going to happen, you know, and really going after it.
Trusting that God is going to make a
yeah.
way in all these impossible scenarios. How
Yeah.
is it going to happen? Because as
Yeah.
a student, you were supposed to go back, right? Because, you know, your visa expired, your
Yeah.
visa's over. It's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to stay in the United States for a longer
Yeah.
period of time?
Yeah, yeah. So it did expire after 2 years. I found a way to stay in the US for one extra year. And then it expired, and then I came back, and some other things
So you went back to Europe.
Yes, I did. I went back and I lived with my mom in Ireland, actually. Yes. For about 6 or 7 months. And I thought that maybe I was going to stay there in Dublin. And honestly, I'm even looking back at that,
Yes.
I'm so grateful that I had that time with her then, because I ended up moving back to the US, I want to say in 2011, after living with my mom for 7 months, and she passed away in 2013.
Wow. So that was the last
So
time.
that was the last time that we got to live together as adults. And, you know, also because in high school she was already working in Ireland, you know, we didn't spend much time together, you know, so that was really, yeah, incredible
It was a
looking
gift.
back. Yeah, how God arranged that, you know?
We see that again because sometimes
Yeah.
we believe that our dreams are not going to come into pass.
Yeah.
You know, that your dream got interrupted. You were already in the US, you're already trying to build yourself here, and then all of a sudden God says, nope, you're going back. Little did you know that it was going to be a gift.
Yeah.
A beautiful gift to be spending time with your mom and cherishing those last moments.
Yeah.
And now you come back and you finally get to New York and you start this movement. Tell us a little bit more about what you do now as a founder of
House
a
incubator.
house incubator. Yes.
Yes.
I love that name, house incubator. It's like involves a lot of things in one name.
It does. Yeah, I feel like that's how my life is. So much going on. But yes, so House Incubator is a brand development platform for independent fashion brands.
Okay.
So that is what I was doing in New York pretty much ever since I moved, about 10 years. Just really dived into the fashion industry and helped independent fashion brands to grow
Their brand, to develop their own brand.
Exactly. Yes, to help them with the business side, to introduce them to retailers. So a big part was even bringing international brands from outside of the US and bringing them to the US and introducing them to the US market. So yeah, that was about 8 or 9, 10 years of really focus on that.
And now you're in Miami. You moved to Miami.
And now I'm in Miami.
Why are you here? Why got you
I
here?
don't know.
I still don't know. I just know that I need to follow it.
The Lord brought me here. No, it's also very interesting because during that year when I was living with the Dillons, I want to honor their names.
Yes,
Their
the Ohio family.
My
Yes,
Ohio
the Dillons.
family, yes, Nancy and Jerry Dillon.
Yes.
When I was living with them, they brought me on several trips. And another place, one of multiple, was Miami. And we went on a cruise, but the cruise was leaving from Miami.
Right.
So I remember there was a morning because we spent the night in Miami, and I woke up in the morning and I wanted to go for a walk because it was my first time in Miami, and I just wanted to explore the streets.
Right.
And I don't even remember now. I'm trying to remember what neighborhood we were in, but I don't know. But I was walking down the street, and similarly, so this was New York and Miami were the two cities where I just felt like one day I'm going to live here.
Wow.
I remember that so strongly. And then when I moved to New York 5 years later from there, and then I lived in New York for 12 years, that dream of Miami, I wasn't even thinking about Miami, but then the Lord started bringing it back to me.
Wow.
I want to say about 2 to 3 years ago, it slowly started percolating again.
And here you are.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important for you to share a piece of you, because you keep on telling me with such passion and conviction that you had a faith like a little child that has always been kind of like within you, and knowing that when God gives you a dream or puts these things in your heart, they will come to pass.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't even understand why we have these dreams or why we have this inside of us.
Yeah.
So I would like for you to speak to someone who's stuck, whoever might be listening to us or might be thinking that their dream is an impossible dream, that it's not going to happen, that there's not a way for it to make it happen, or that God puts something in your heart and you didn't even know where to start or how to get it out.
Yeah.
What would you say to that person who is Karina at the age of 18 or 19, knowing that they has a dream and not knowing how is it going to happen? How would you impart what God has done in your life and tell them directly?
Yes. I would say that with God, nothing is impossible. I think we know that, we hear that a lot, but it's truly true. I think that the thing that sometimes makes us doubt is time. Because maybe there's more time that goes in between, the dream, when God puts the seed in our heart and when it actually happens. But it will happen. If it is a dream from God, it will definitely happen. And I feel like most things in my life that have happened, they've come to me. So I'm still actually figuring this out myself. This part is, what is our job in the design, and what God does. Because all the beautiful things that have happened to me, all the big impactful things that have changed my life, when I look back at it, God has brought them to me. But I have been in the place to receive it, right?
You have had to take that step.
Exactly.
That's what the Bible says. He asks us to make the first step, because that first step is the faith.
Yeah.
Right? When you make that move, when you make that step, he meets you there.
Yeah.
He meets you where you are. But if you're not moving, then he's not moving either.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a beautiful picture of our Father. Right? Because I remember when I was teaching my son how to walk. Right? It's exactly the same vision.
Yeah.
Because when they're standing up and you're like saying, okay, you have to take that step. I can't take it for you. Right? You cannot walk for your baby. You cannot walk for your toddler. They have to break that fear of coming up and standing up and on their own take the first step.
Yeah.
And when they do it, then they know that they have reached your hand, because you're waiting, right? It's like you take your step and then God is right there with you.
And think about the joy that you experienced when your son took his first step.
Absolutely.
That's how God feels. I think sometimes we are scared to take steps because we feel like God is going to shut doors in our face, or it's not going to happen, or, But in reality, think about it. How happy you were when your son took the first step, I think God is just so happy when we try, when we do things.
When we trust him.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I was not going to let my child fall.
Yeah.
I knew it. He didn't know, but I knew.
Wow.
And the same thing, God knows that he's not going to let you fall. But how proud he is when we trust him.
Yeah.
When you say we have, we know our Father has this massive dreams in our hearts, which are aligned to his dreams, because at the end of the day, we're doing His work. And if we don't take those steps of faith, the way that you have done it with your impossible dreams, you will not be here.
Yeah.
And you will not be able to share the story of who you are now and all these beautiful things that have happened. If you look back at the little girl in Lavia and look at who you are now and what He has done, never in the wildest dreams you would have imagined it,
Yeah.
that you were living it, right?
Yeah. No, truly.
So
And there's still so much ahead.
so much ahead, which is that's what I
Yeah.
love about Karina, that she's like, I'm trying to figure things out, like so many things, but I know that there's some more.
Yeah.
That's still a childlike faith, that I know that there's more and bigger and brighter things.
Yeah.
So I thank you so much for sharing your story, for allowing us to experience the beautifulness of when you think that it's possible, it is possible, and that God will open doors that we never even imagined.
Yeah.
In this case, it's a beautiful family from Ohio that made it happen, which were instruments in God's hands to be part of your story. Thank you for that. And if this podcast inspired you, share it. We need to have more people like Karina sharing your story. If you have your story, let us know. We would love to have you in this space so we can all feel from your scent as I call you aroma, your scent as a woman, of how you're flourishing now in the fashion industry, and also sharing about your faith wherever you go, that you're so strong with it. Don't forget to click on the little bell so you can get notifications, subscribe to this channel, and we're going to put obviously our social media information so you can follow Karina, see what she does with everything that she does, which is a lot, and continue to listen to stories that will inspire you and will get you closer to God. Thank you, and we'll see you in our next episode.